Good evening. Welcome. I am pretty excited today to be doing this Facebook Live, to be offering you an opportunity to witness and be a part of a healing synergy session. This is an example. I'm going to start off with myself tonight, and then I'm going to work with Kelly after that. This will give you an example or an idea of what working with me can look like. And it will just give you, well, at least a bit of a taste. Hello, Elaine. Welcome. I know there's a lot of people who have been asking questions and wanting to learn more and have a better idea and understanding of what intuitive healing actually is, what it looks like, and certainly some of the benefits that people can receive from it. And I know that people will start joining as we continue talking. Hello, Karen, welcome. And so for those who are here right on time, I love that, who are joining right away. That's great. So you might hear a few of these things probably more than once at some point during this live. And I hope that's okay. I'm really glad that you're here though. So the first thing that I want to say, as always, if you have questions, if you have comments, if there's something that you want to know about, feel free to post it in the comments below. Of course, I already have people letting me know they're here. That's great. But if you have particular questions or something you want to know more about, feel free to post those comments. Now, one of the things that's going to be a little bit different tonight than other Facebook Lives is I may not be answering questions or responding to statements as soon as they come in. The reason for that is because I'm going to be literally in the process of providing healing. And in doing that, I don't want to interrupt that flow. So if I don't answer right away, that would be why. I will get to it, and if for some reason don't get to it in the course of the live stream, then I will absolutely get back to you after. The other thing that I'm asking tonight from anybody who is observing this, whether you're observing this live or you're observing the recording at a later time, be reminded that this is a healing session. So if you could hold this space, basically be part of creating a safe container for, in this case tonight, myself and Kelly, for the healing that's going to occur, and in future lives for others that may join us. But hold that safe space, because this is, well, it's a vulnerable experience, certainly because we're choosing to do it live. And also just hold that, add your energy, add your good energy, bring it in to be a part of this event to support the healing that will happen. I really appreciate all of you who do that. And I then want to move into a quote. When I think of vulnerability, when I think of courage, I automatically think of, well, besides the people who come in for care, besides the people who are showing up, committed to themselves, committed to their own health and healing, committed to their overall health and well-being, I think that takes courage. So beyond that, when I think of, I guess you could say, a celebrity and courage, I think of Brene Brown. And so I wanted to share one of her quotes tonight because I feel like it is so relevant to what we're going to do. And one of the quotes I chose, because I'm going to share a couple, is, "Courage starts with showing up and letting ourselves be seen." And that's certainly part of what I'm going to do tonight and Kelly is going to do tonight. And for those who join us, you as well. So again, thank you. So at this point, I would like to kind of call Kelly in to join. Now, in future lives, I will say, come on in, Kel. For future lives, the person's not going to be sitting next to me, but considering that Kelly is my wife, she is sitting next to me because we don't live in different places. But the work that I'm going to demonstrate tonight is work that the healing work can be done with people in other parts of the country. I had an appointment yesterday with somebody from Boston. I have somebody tomorrow, a couple people tomorrow. One's in Arizona, another one's in, let me think, Michigan. So certainly work with people from other parts of the country. So we can do that work from anywhere. So in the future, you will see probably the split screen of the person who is joining me for a healing session. So I'm going to let Kelly introduce herself, and just give a little overview so far of her experience with intuitive healing.
Hi, I'm Kelly Hatfield, Dr. Jenn, or Phoenix's wife. I have been working in her office space now since January, but I have been benefiting, and gladly so, from the services that she provides for a few years now. And for me, at first, it was certainly physical ailments, the reason why I first started seeing her. And I can say that one injury in particular I had in high school, an ankle injury, excuse me, and it was persistent, and there was never a time where my feet did not hurt. This particular, my right foot, and after realizing, once Dr. Jenn helped me connect that it's not just physical, it's also emotional, that's when I really started seeing the healing in different ways, and I was able to move forward and live my life in a healthier way, and I have absolutely no pain at all after having more than 20 years of pain. So seeing myself as a whole person, not just the physical, has been one benefit of working with Dr. Jenn, as well as increasing my intuition. I left a toxic job, and that actually I've left a couple toxic jobs in the last few years, but that has definitely been as a result of honoring myself and honoring what I've learned from Dr. Jenn and with her support and help.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I see a couple people have joined us, so welcome. And as I reiterated, or I'll reiterate because I said this earlier, as you join us, if you have questions, you have comments, feel free to post them. We will respond to them at some point during the live tonight, or certainly as they come through at a later time. And we ask that you hold safe space, because sometimes when, showing up like this can be a vulnerable experience, especially when you're talking about healing. So again, I'll just share that. And I realized I created a little format for myself tonight because I can get talking. And I called Kel in a little earlier than what I had planned, but it's probably good that she's here because I can get talking, so she can help keep me moving forward. Because what I'm going to share with you now is what I call the check-in process. I've created a series of questions that allow me to tune into my body, get permission to communicate with my body, and when I'm working with somebody else, with theirs, and have myself and the people I work with be at their best, so that way any work or healing that we do has the full impact or the optimal impact available to it. So I'm going to do it with myself, and I will give a shout out while I'm thinking about this. The work that I do at this point comes from, my years working as a chiropractor, and then with what I learned from Dr. Ted Koren and his KST. And then from there, how I work at this point continues to develop, continues to evolve. And as somebody put it yesterday, so you kind of do your own thing at this point. And I would say yes. I would also add that the healing work that I do at this point doesn't come from me, it comes through me, certainly when I'm working with somebody else. So the question that I typically start off with, not typically, the question that I do start off with once we start a session is there a priority? And essentially what I'm asking the body is there a priority that the body says, yes, we want to address and work on today? So I'm going to ask that question of myself. And my body says, yes, there is a priority. So there is something that my body wants us to address. The next question I ask, is it safe to proceed? Because if it's not, we want to know why, and we want to address that first. In some cases, there are some things that we can do to then provide a safe environment, a safe setting to then proceed. In other cases, the body says no. It says like not today, basically. And when you hear me say body, I'm talking our whole body, our whole being. I'm talking physically, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, our conscious awareness, our subconscious, our energetic body. So basically, I'm talking everything that makes up who we are. So my body is telling me, yes, it is safe to proceed. Next question, are you in the ideal posture? My body says yes. The reason for that is sometimes we can increase the impact of the healing work that we do if a person is in a different posture or position. As you probably know, sometimes, hey Colette, hey Julie, sometimes you have back pain or you might have headaches or, well, different things happen and you feel them differently in your body depending on what activity you're engaged in or what might be going on around you. And sometimes the body wants to put us in that position to be able to, hey Rashida, to be able to get the full impact of the healing that we do. So my body says I'm in a good position. Let's see, next question. Am I optimally connected to my full healing potential? My body says yes. Now, my body says yes to most of these things because I'm checking in with myself at least every day, if not more than once a day. Certainly when I start working with somebody, some of these answers may be no. And we'll see if that comes up with Kel tonight. But what do I mean by optimal healing potential? There are things that we do that can shut off the messages that our body sends us to say, okay, there's something wrong here, there's something to address, there's something that requires your attention. The examples that come to mind for me are the years that I played sports in high school, and you might be in the middle of a game and you might kind of twist your ankle a little bit. Basically, you're going to walk it off. You're going to play through it in most cases and ignore the messages that your bodies are telling you. Another example that comes to mind, certainly with certain jobs, people might find themselves working, even though their body says, take a break, take a rest. There's something else we want you to do to take care of yourself. And as we continue to ignore those messages, what happens is the body stops sending them. An example of this for me is, I have a high tolerance for pain. What that means is I've ignored the signals from my body so long, I don't even recognize them when they get sent. So we want to make sure that you're tuned in and connected to your optimal healing potential. So my body says, yes, I'm connected, which is awesome. The next area that I address are beliefs. beliefs are what I call core beliefs. They're things that we believe about ourselves, believe about our environment, believe how, about the world, about our community. Some of them we're conscious of, others we are not. And sometimes we might struggle with something or feel like something's really hard, and it's because our beliefs are essentially outdated. So I've created a list over years of beliefs because what I've discovered is we can address healing from more than one direction, from kind of like the surface, more recent issues, and then from the core or the center of who you are. So I'm going to check in and see if there's beliefs for me to address tonight. Okay. The belief that my body wants to start with is, I am safe. Now, in my case, my body is saying yes. So the reason it's coming up is my body wants to do a little work to strengthen that belief, strengthen that signal. And, considering we're on a Facebook Live, people are watching. This is something new that we're doing. Yeah, part of my body might be like, oh shit. And that can trigger not feeling safe at times. Tonight, because I, again, do this work regularly, it just wants to strengthen it. So let me just do that. And I do that energetically. So you're going to see me close my eyes, and that just means I'm communicating with my body to determine where my body wants energy for me to clear the path, per se. We want to make sure that connections are clear. So what you're witnessing, and again, pretty quick for me because I do this regularly, when I work with somebody, whether it's in the office currently or remotely, from you being in your home, your office, that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be sending energy to different parts of your body and being to clear out what's stuck, to clear out what's no longer serving you. So that way your body can work together in every aspect of itself. Are there other beliefs to address? No. Okay. Next question. Are there general priorities? No. What does that mean? Sometimes the body has areas that it wants to receive some healing work, and it's going to tell me where to go. I did this earlier. I was trying to be as clear as I could be before getting on this live. So as you can see, there's not too much going on. Once we clear the general, I typically ask, is there something specific that you want to check in on? My body says no. Again, I cleared that earlier. And then at that point, I'm going to ask just a couple of questions to wrap up, to give the body a couple more opportunities to address anything it might want to address. Again, I gotta stop looking at the corner of my screen where everybody stops popping up because it gets distracting. But it's also exciting because I'm glad that there's so many people are here. So my wrap-up questions are, is there anything else that we can do to increase or enhance what we've already done? Again, my body's saying no, but sometimes it'll say yes, and there's some additional steps, or provide benefits that have not already been addressed. Okay, my body's saying no to that too. Last question, are there recommendations? And now, all of this information that you're hearing me talking about, this is coming from my body. It's not coming from my mind. I'm not thinking about this stuff. It's coming through, I say, my intuition. I will say that the information is channeled. Sometimes people say, do you hear it? Do you see it? No. The best way I describe it is, it kind of is here. I'm aware of the information, but I'm very clear it's not my mind. It didn't come from me, the person. It's coming from me, the healer. So when I'm passing along recommendations, these are recommendations that are literally coming from you. They're coming through you. And typically that's subconscious or what you're not aware of, because there's a lot of times that people go like, ooh, I didn't think of that, or I didn't know that, or wow, like that really is a great idea. Like, how'd you think of it? I didn't. Your body knows you. And I often say, like, our mind doesn't know how we can heal to our full potential, but our body knows. And that's a really important point that I want to share. We are capable of like optimal healing. We have that ability within us. Every single one of us has it. Sometimes we're not always aware of it or fully connected to it, but we are our ultimate healers. And certainly a big part of what I do with people is help them connect to that ultimate healer that they are. And because we've had a bunch of people join, since I said this earlier, you have questions, you have comments, feel free to ask. And then I just also ask that you hold safe space because, well, this is a healing session and it can be vulnerable. So just hold that healing space for us. And when you ask questions, when you ask comments, I might not respond right away if I'm in the middle of doing some healing, but then I will certainly respond at a later point. All right, so if you have any questions or comments based on what I've shared so far, I know it's kind of a lot of information, then please let me know. Hey Heather, hey Erin, please let me know. This would be a great time to ask any questions, make any comments before I get started with Kelly. And I know I rushed through the recommendations. I love recommendations when they come through because they are so in tune to you because they are coming from you. And I think that that's one of the most fascinating things about the recommendations that come through is they're so spot on. I've had one person say it's almost creepy at times, it's so spot on. Somebody else said they laugh now when they get recommendations because they know at some point, things are going to start happening when they follow through on those recommendations. So I feel like that's pretty cool. All right, so I'm not seeing any questions or comments. I do know that I see that some people are having some issues with the video freezing up for some reason on their end. Of course, this is being recorded. It will be available after, and if you have any questions or comments at that time, I will get back to you. So I'm going to now start Kelly's healing session. And the questions that you heard me ask, I'm going to basically start communicating with her body, her being. And yes, I do close my eyes sometimes because it just helps me have a clearer connection. I'm not ignoring you. Well, kind of, but anyway. All right, is there a priority for Kelly? Yes. Is it safe to proceed? I had a feeling, and it says no. It says that, it's not safe to proceed. So we need to figure that out first. Is there something to clear? Because often that is what the case is. I think one time it wasn't safe, and come to find out the person had been in a car accident and they forgot to tell me. And it wasn't safe for healing. Their body was already doing some healing on their own and basically didn't want me getting in the way of that. But typically there's something else to clear. So let me see what Kelly's body needs. Okay, so before we get started going any further, her body wants us to address beliefs. So we're going to change up the order that I shared earlier. This is not necessarily unusual. The body can sometimes take us on an adventure. All right, so Kel, I'd like you to repeat after me, I am safe.
I am safe.
Okay, and her body is saying no. Again, she's on the computer, people are watching, and vulnerable situation. This takes courage. So I'm going to do some clearing to help her body hopefully get into a position that it does feel safe. All right, so is there a priority? Yes. Okay, if you could repeat after me, I am safe.
I am safe.
Okay, yes. Her body says yes. And again, when we do healing consistently, then what we need to do to clear things, to align things, tends to be easier. Okay, so now I'm going to ask, is it safe to proceed? Yes. So now that we aligned her being safe throughout her entire body and being, her body is basically giving us permission to continue. All right, are you in the ideal posture? Yes. Are you optimally connected to your full healing potential? Yes. Okay, do we address any other beliefs? Yes. All right, so I'm going to pull out my list here. Okay, Kel, if you could repeat after me. Abundance comes from within and through me with ease.
Abundance comes from within and through me with ease.
Okay. And Kelly's body is telling me no. So there's something getting in the way of her owning that belief. And this is what I think is fascinating about this work. This is why, sometimes you set intentions or you have affirmations that you repeat regularly. And I know some people will express, they just don't work. Sometimes the reason why they're not working is the mind, the body, the heart, basically physically, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, both the conscious awareness and the subconscious awareness are not all on the same page. So when we align them to be working together, then you increase the likelihood or the possibility, certainly, that those affirmations, those intentions are going to move you more efficiently, more easily in the direction that you want to go. All right, so her body said no, so let me clear that. Okay, if you could repeat after me, Kel. Abundance comes from within and through me with ease.
Abundance comes from within and through me with ease.
Okay, so now her body and being is saying yes. Are there other beliefs to address at this time? Yes. Okay, if you could repeat after me. I up-level with love, faith, trust, and abundance.
I up-level with love, faith, trust, and abundance.
Yes. Okay, correct. Let me see what your body says to that. Okay, her body says no. So there's something blocking there. They're not, her body's not and being's not working fully together. So I'm going to clear that up. Okay. All right, Kel, if you could repeat after me. I up-level with faith, love, trust, and abundance.
I up-level with faith, trust, love, and abundance.
Yes, and now her body says yes.
Do you want to say what up-level is?
Yes. So if you're wondering, like, what the heck does up-level mean? That's basically any time that we are becoming more aware, our consciousness is expanding. Most of us certainly who are on this live or who are watching this, are taking some form of action to move along on a health and well-being journey. We're wanting to become more aware. We're wanting to expand our consciousness. And up-leveling is essentially doing that. Where you might be operating today will be in, let me see if you can see that. Okay, within a range, because we tend to live within a range with some highs and lows at times. And when we're up-leveling, we're literally taking that range and moving it up. And when we're doing that, when our vibration shifts, our energy shifts, our awareness shifts, then it's like the body has to restabilize. It has to, get acclimated to that new energy, that new vibration, that new way of being. And it can be uncertain, it can be scary, it can, not always feel great, certainly initially. Once you settle into it, it's like, ooh, yeah, this is good. Things open up, expand, and you're glad that you did that. So by saying we up level with faith, love, trust, and abundance, that's to set the stage, set the foundation to move through that with more ease. That's certainly the goal. That's absolutely one of the benefits of doing this work is people can move through shifts and change patterns, change behaviors, change beliefs, often easier. It doesn't take as long, not as much struggle, not as hard.
I feel like with the first two beliefs that I definitely felt like more at ease. Like I could feel it in my body, definitely easier. The second one, it was like anxiety first and then ease. Or the third one rather. So yeah.
Well, yes. The list of beliefs that I'm working with is, let me see, because I'm constantly adding to it. As circumstances arrive with individuals, as new things are uncovered, it's like, ooh, I know that other people are expanding and experiencing, an issue with this belief, and I'll add it to the list. And right now I'm working at, there's 94 beliefs that I have on this list. And so some of them are more foundational beliefs. Certainly I am safe. As you can imagine, if you feel safe throughout your entire body and being, the decisions that you make and the confidence you have in the decisions and your willingness to take risks and step outside your comfort zone are probably going to come easier. You're going to feel more confident versus if you don't feel safe in your body and being, part of you is going to, not be willing to step outside your comfort zone. It really limits you, if that makes sense. And some of these other beliefs, like this last one that Kelly mentioned, is a belief that tends to come later when you've reached a certain point in your health and healing, if that makes sense. Now, as I mentioned, because I see a bunch more people jumping on, which is awesome. If you have questions, you have comments, feel free to post them. I will get back to you with them if I'm in the middle of some healing. And and just add to the safe space that we have here for this healing that's going on. So let me see. Are there other beliefs to address at this time? No. Okay. So I always ask the body when it's time to move on next. And that, again, is one of the reasons I love this work. Your body, your being is going to tell us when we're done. You can't overdo and you can't not do enough, because literally your body is going to communicate when a session is done for that particular day, which is amazing. Sometimes we might do one or two things, even on occasion, nothing. The body's like, nope, I have a recommendation and that's the end for today. Other times we may do significantly more work. Doesn't mean there's more problems or there's more issues. It just means your body's ready for that. It's ready to take that next step. All right, so now I'm going to ask Kelly's body, are there general priorities to address? And it says yes. So I'm going to do some general clearing here. Okay. And that's it for her at this time. Again, when you're under consistent care, there's usually not as much to address. Now, since I see this, Heather asks, what's a good way to get out of your head when you're making decisions? That's an excellent question. I say go to your body. Tune into your body and start paying attention to what your body's telling you, because the answers are there Absolutely. And when we essentially bypass the brain, or at least say, okay, kind of move on over, because I want to tune into the rest of me, in my opinion, you're going to get the true answer. And the true answer may be different than your mind, certainly your logical mind. And this is where I'll point out that your logical or your conscious mind is about 5% of your brain function. 95% is your unconscious or your subconscious mind. So one of the reasons why Heather's probably asking this is because we really want to be able to tap into the rest of us, our subconscious mind, because there's so much more information there that we do have access to, that we want to access when we are making decisions. We're going to have, well, again, more ease, more confidence. We're going to be willing to really step out further into what might initially be uncomfortable because we have access to so much more information. So great question. And Heather, if I didn't answer that or you have more questions, feel free to ask. Okay, so at this point, because I've cleared out general priorities, I ask the person, is there something that they want to check in on? Oh, and Heather does add, yes, our brain can go around in circles. And I know somebody earlier, I don't know if they're still on here, Julie will talk about the monkey mind. Our monkey mind can really monkey with us. It can really get us get in the way, especially when we're wanting to make changes or we're wanting to, there's goals that we want to achieve, or we want to try something new. Our logical mind works in patterns. And it wants us to be safe, so it wants us to do what's already known. When we tap into our subconscious mind and bypass that monkey mind, then we're going to be able to get more information to be able to, again, make those other choices with more ease and with more confidence. So, Kel, is there anything that you want to check in on tonight?
I don't think so. Or are there any recommendations or anything?
Okay, I'll check on that in a moment.
Okay.
Now, when I ask people, if there's anything they want to check in on, that can be, something going on physically in their body. And I'll think of some people that I've worked with today, who somebody asked about, pain in their wrist. So at that point, I asked their body, is there something for us to address regarding the pain in their wrist? So it can be physical, and it can be something that's been going on for a while that they forgot about, or it can be something new. It can also be something emotional. So say I worked with somebody today who hasn't lived here long and has run into, some challenges since they moved here. And so her emotional state has felt somewhat like a roller coaster. So one of the things that she said to me is, she's like, I feel like I'm all over the place. That just when I start to feel good, it's like, oh, here we go, and down again. So I asked her body if there was anything that we could do to support her with those swings that she was, having a challenge with. We can also ask about maybe goals that you want to work on. It's really interesting what our body can tell us about goals or things that we want to be doing in our life. And I know some of the people who are on here tonight have experienced this, where they literally brought their goals to a session. And when I say brought it, they're on their phone, I'm on my phone, and we both have their goal list in front of us. And their body will literally say, okay, I want to work on goal number 3, and we want to change the wording. Like, the energy of this word is not okay, or it's not right for you and what you're wanting to achieve. Other times it's saying, okay, this is not the time for this goal. or let's change the phrasing, let's add to it. And often what people share once we're done is the whole energy of their goals has expanded. It has increased. It's changed where they're like, whoa, they're really excited about their goals, even more so than what they may have been when we initially started the session. So we can sometimes revisit goals because the body will have recommendations about their goals. And
sometimes it's about like changing jobs or
right.
that kind of stuff. Even buying furniture that's going to be your best fit for your back or your body, or
basically
like
anything that you can put into a yes or no question that you want to ask your body, that you want to ask your being, you want to ask the essence of who you are and get information, you can ask your body. And sometimes it says no, there's no information there, but I would say 95% of the time, your body probably does have something to say about it. Sometimes I have a lot of entrepreneurs who come in for care. So they might find themselves struggling in some aspect of their business or feel like they're blocked or they've hit a ceiling. And so they might ask questions about that. Once we address those areas, then I ask my wrap-up questions. Is there anything else that we can do today to increase or enhance what we've already done? Okay, Kelly's body is saying yes. So I'm going to try to narrow that down. Is it something physical? No. Is it something emotional? Yes. So her body is telling me that there are some emotions, and she's grinning because I'm sure part of her is wondering what emotions are going to come up and what might that mean. And the other part of her, I hope, is like, ooh, we're going to release emotions, because it can be so much easier to release emotions in a session like this than actually having to experience them or to do therapy for years or or something like that. So let me see what emotion her body wants to release today. Okay, is the emotion sadness? Yes. And I always confirm, sometimes I'm a little off. Okay, is it hers? Yes. And I do ask that because sometimes we pick up emotions from others around us that we've interacted with that aren't actually ours. But in this case, it is hers. Is there more to know? Yes. Sometimes no, sometimes the body says, okay, we're just going to change, we're just going to release it, we're going to address it and move on. In other cases, well, there's more information. And this time it's saying yes. Is there a benefit of knowing when you first experienced this emotion? No. Okay. At a particular point in your life? Yes. Is it now? No. All right. So let me see if we can narrow it down. Okay. So her body is telling me something around the age of 23 where she experienced sadness. Can you think of anything where sadness might have been what you experienced at the age of 23?
I'm trying to think, wait, what year is that? I would say it's roughly around the time that my ex passed away.
Okay.
Is that it?
Yeah. And her body is saying yes. Now, when this happens, sometimes when I say there's more to know, sometimes people are like, oh yeah, I give them an age and they are like, oh, it is absolutely, my parents got divorced, or like I got fired from my job, or I got married, you know, because it's not always horrible things. Well, I'm sure some people think it is horrible or not, but anyway. So they might know the event. In other cases, they can't really think of anything, at least not in the session. It comes up, it might come up later, where they come back and go, you know that thing? I thought of it. Either case, whether you remember or not, or know what it is or not, it's okay. The body's going to take care of it. So Kelly is saying that around that age, an ex of hers passed away. So that sadness has been stored in her body since the age of 23 around that event. we're going to clear that emotion from her body because it's not supporting her. So we're going to clear that out. Okay, so we've cleared that out. Are there other emotions to address at this time? No. I always ask because sometimes it's one, it's two, other times, I don't know, it's more than that. But in this particular case, it's saying no. All right, my next question. Is there anything else that we can do to provide benefits that we've not already addressed? Her body is saying yes. Is it physical? Yes. So it wants me to do a little more general physical clearing. Okay, is there anything else? No. And then my last question, are there recommendations? And again, recommendations are coming from her body, her being. It's coming from who she is. Again, not always aware in her logical mind, but certainly her body knows. So let me see. Recommendations. Okay. In this particular case, it is saying it is something that she's already doing. So it wants to talk about something she's already doing. And again, I'm going to ask questions to narrow it down. Okay, something to do with her business. Okay, so in this particular case, her body is just wanting to let her know that it likes the fact that she has made the decision to create a website for her business. Her body is saying, hell yeah, it really likes that. And sometimes that's the information that comes through at this point. It just wants to confirm that you're on track, that what you're doing, it's basically giving yourself credit for the things that you do that we don't often logically do for ourselves. Our body will remind us to give yourself credit, which I think is pretty awesome. Let me see. Is there any other information about that? No. Okay. Any other recommendations? Yes. Okay. Drink more water. And we're both grinning because her body typically recommends that. Any other recommendations beyond that? Yes. Okay. And it's saying that there is something else. In this particular case, it is something for with your business, and it's something that you're thinking about doing. Something else that you're thinking about doing that we haven't already touched on.
Something with cemeteries.
Yes. Okay. So something with cemeteries. I don't know if Kelly mentioned this. I don't remember this at the start when she introduced herself. Kelly does ancestral healing. Rituals. She helps people create rituals for healing. She also does space clearing and for offices, for homes, for land, because energy and things can get stuck there as well. And Kelly spends time in cemeteries because of this work. So what is it that you're thinking about as far as cemeteries?
I was thinking about having, and this year is kind of quick to be doing it, but I was thinking about doing some kind of memorial, like an annual memorial in any cemetery, really. It doesn't have to be a specific one.
Okay. And her body is saying yes to that. Let me see if there's any more information. Okay, it's saying yes, there is more information. Okay, so, and this is where sometimes our bodies, again, knows more, has recommendations that help us move outside our comfort zone, or kind of lights a fire under our butt, because her body is saying, do it this year.
That's like Friday.
Okay. Your body's saying it can be pretty simple, but yeah, do it. All right. Any other recommendations? No. Okay. So at this point, essentially a healing session is done. Now, this session took longer tonight because obviously I was explaining things. I was sharing why, and certainly what some of the steps meant and the reason for doing them. A healing session, certainly when someone is just starting care, 30 minutes easily, depending on how people work with me and what we're working on. Sometimes we do like a 60 or 90 minute initial session because we can set the foundation or the stage for optimal healing for future sessions. Once people have been under care for a period of time, then sessions can be 30 minutes long or 15 minutes long, and we can start getting into, well, what I think is like the nitty-gritty. We can start helping your body to heal some of the deeper layers, some of the core that maybe we haven't gotten to in the past. And as always, our body can surprise us and take us in places that we hadn't even thought of. So again, I know a lot of information has been shared tonight. If anybody has questions or comments, feel free to post them. This will be an excellent time, whether that question or comment is for me or for Kelly, considering she has experienced this tonight. And yeah, so feel free to ask questions, make comments. Otherwise, well, and I'll pay attention, I'll check in. But what I would like to do, one thing that I will mention, I do share this with people, is that after you've had a healing session, whether it's your first one or your 10th one or your 50th one, your body is going to respond. And it can be what I would say is one of 3 general responses. And that is, you might feel lighter, you might feel more energetic, you might notice a decrease in pain or pain that goes away. And that can absolutely happen in one session in some cases. And then the second response that your body might have is you don't really notice too much at first. Might need to do a little more work before the body's able to make some changes. The third response is you're noticing changes, which is great that you're noticing changes, but they don't always feel the best. You might find yourself uncomfortable, and that could be physically or emotionally. You might find, that where normally you wouldn't describe yourself as angry, that anger is coming up, or that tears want to spring to your eyes at any point. And I am aware that expressing emotions for a lot of people is uncomfortable, and if part of you is like, oh no, not doing that, what I can tell you is for those people who do this and allow that, they are blown away by what their body and being and essentially what themselves is capable of. It can have a huge emotional or huge healing impact. And once you move through it, things just, awesomeness starts to come in. So I let people know that so they're not so surprised when their body starts responding. So I'm not seeing any questions or comments, so I'm going to just continue. And again, if you have questions, comments, feel free to ask. So the next thing that I'll say then is, if you are interested in experience a synergy healing session, much like you saw me demonstrate on myself and demonstrate with Kelly, then send me a message, make a comment below, or send me a direct message, because you could be the person who joins me on my next Facebook Live. I am doing complimentary synergy healing sessions with people who join me, much like Kelly did tonight. The one difference is you would be in your home, I'd be in my home, and you'd see both of us on the screen, but in our respective locations. So So if you're wanting to experience, again, a synergy healing session, complimentary, then let me know and we can find a date that works. And much like you saw me do with Kelly tonight, I would walk you through those steps to help your body clear what's no longer serving you, what's getting in the way, things that are stuck, blocked, toxins, things that are out of alignment. Anything that's creating an obstacle or a challenge for you fully being able to be who you are, express who you are, to be your, well, hope this doesn't offend anybody, your fucking fantastic self. Because that's what it's all about, is us really being able to be who we are and create the life that we love. I mean, it's essentially a vibrant life makeover, because we really do have that capability. So again, complimentary healing session. And then I have a couple of other offers. If you know that, like, hey, I want to know more and I want to get started, then you can go to my website, theintuitivephoenix.com. And don't mind the site right now. It is like a basic site because a lot of things are changing. And frankly, I think it's ugly, but the details are there. Fill out the application and send that to me, and we'll talk about how we can work together and how that can help you create the life that you want to live. And then if you're local, I'm doing group healing next Tuesday night at 6:30. And again, much like you saw tonight, we're going to do that here in the office together. I'll do healing for the entire group, and then as intuition comes through, as information comes through, I'll do healing with individuals. And that's in the office next Tuesday. There's also a date in October. Because next Tuesday is the first time I'm doing it, though that is $15 for tickets. A excellent price that's going to go up after that. So lots of ways for you to be able to commit to yourself and provide yourself some really great opportunities for healing. All right. I know I had some other people join. If you're still here, if you've got questions or comments, feel free to ask. Or if you're interested in a complimentary synergy healing session, much like I did with Kelly tonight, or demonstrated with Kelly, then send me a message, make a comment below, and we'll connect. All right. So anything that you can think to add that I haven't touched on? Or?
No, the only thing I would say is that as you continue to see Dr. Jenn, your own intuition grows. And right. With that happening, like, I knew you were going to say, do it this year. Because I was already thinking, you need to get on that. Okay. You're not going to wait a year and do that. So stuff like that, you will start to pick up on your own answers, and you'll be able to recognize that yourself as well once you've gotten practice with Dr. Jenn. So.
Well, and that went back to Heather's question that she had, like, how do you get out of your mind? I do have people who, yes, their intuition continues to develop in such a way that they come in with less questions, more wanting confirmation. All right. Well, I want to thank everybody who joined me tonight. It was excellent to have so many people here. And I know I didn't say hi to everyone, but it was great to see names pop up. As I said, I was staying focused on healing. And I want to wrap up with a quote. Another one by Brene Brown. And I just posted this tonight. Love it. Courage is contagious. Every time we choose courage, we make everyone around us a little better, and I couldn't read my own writing, and the world a little braver. So again, wonderful to see you all. I'm sending health, love, and ease in your transformation. until we connect next time, which is next Wednesday. All right. I'll talk to you then.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.